Hey guys, welcome back. Uh, Good news, the Spectrum folks made it all fixed. So we, yeah, let's just say IPv6 is restored. Um, yeah, ultimately, solution turned out to be changing my modem, which didn't quite expect, but and my balance is way off. Why am I so far to the left? Let's try that. Huh? A little closer to center. Track that down later. So yeah, so we're able to get a IPv6 address on certainly on the inside of the modem. MAC comes up, pulls an address. pfSense sees an address without issue. So it hasn't quite made it to the rest of the network here, but at the moment I was trying to track down a bit of a performance problem on a new leg of the wireless. It's the shed connection. Seems to have good, ping time. That's pinging the remote open WRT. And if I start at the head end, use the correct IP address. And negative 45, I mean, it seems like a pretty good signal level with a 100 and what is that, 60 dB signal to noise ratio. It doesn't get much cleaner than that. And I'm interested to see here that I am actually 173 megabits, so I am actually using a 256 QAM rate. I wasn't sure that was going to work. And we'll look at it from the other side here. I mean, that side's even better. It's like 65. So a little curious why the performance has been so bad. Got something bridged on the other side. Let's take a taking a look at the this is Netgear Plus series switch. And they really are pretty cost effective. I believe they're using the same kind of Marvell chipset typically that's TP-Link is using. They just seem to build it a little higher spec. So yeah, traffic going back and forth. None of that looks like an error. Yet still, when I get out there and do a speed test, is not as consistent as I would like it to be. So let's do a use iPerf. So this is version 2, I think by default, but it does sort of a TCP stream, and yeah, 114 meg. And if I look at it the other way, (100 meg). So that doesn't really, I don't really understand then when I get out there and I connect to something that's plugged into the Ethernet port, why I'm lucky to get 60 meg through there. So still sort of a ongoing test. rlib dhcp. Is DNS gonna work today? So it's already dropped off again. Maybe it's a MAC address or a broadcast problem. So just as a testing metric, tried statically assigning the MAC address, no change. So let's come, here we are, shed side. Let's see if that traffic is actually reaching us. All right. Plenty of spanning tree and UPnP and all the other media garbage. Yeah, I got CDP coming all the way up from another leg of the network making it here, so I don't really have any concerns about Linux. No traffic errors on that side. So the performance discrepancy is strange. This port is a time capsule. Just kind of no data, reset out of the box. Only got 100 meg uplink, but I mean, a time capsule ought to be able to, and it's 802.11n, so Apple Extreme there, but it ought to be able to kick out over 100 meg. So yeah, strange. I can't even ping it. This is quite the suspicious circumstance. Apparent. DC77. I did see something in the 802. In the host APD documentation that kind of seemed to indicate maybe 802.11 AC wasn't compatible with a 20 megahertz channel width. I mean, it's my MAC address, so that's correct. So yeah, it did reauthenticate, reassociate at some point. Possibly when I power cycled the remote end. Yeah, ongoing mystery. So yeah, I thought I'd show what we're using out there. I've got these these NSStation 5AC locos. This is one, the lower end, or call it more affordable or older products from Ubiquiti use this passive PoE. It's a 24 volt. They essentially just inject it on pins 4, 5, 7, and 8, you can make a 100 megabit compatible injector solely by chopping up patch cables or punching things funny. This is the other side here. This particular unit has a, I don't know, it got a, like I say, I plugged into the higher voltage PoE and lost, the internet tells me that that the TVS diode has shorted itself. So that's, I guess what happens. The internet, yeah, makes me believe that I can just pull it off and everything will go back to working, provided I don't try the same thing again. Which I believe is this part here. It just seems awfully big. I'm more inclined to suspect this one here, but I've not really gotten a reading off it. So yeah, apparently you can just lift that diode entirely. I thought I might extend that into like a local DC powering option for development and put the headers in there. These things are interesting. Once upon a time you had to use a serial cable to configure a router, and then it was IP addresses and web pages. Ubiquity's been nice enough to put a second radio in there. There's actually 2.4 gig as well. It's a pretty terrible antenna. It's really only useful to configure the thing while you're sitting pretty close to it. But yeah, that does work. Not sure how to do a scan with these tools. 0. That's one that we're interested in. And I know I can go into monitor mode and start looking at management frames. IPv6, just like that. And yeah, so it's a functional radio. Let's see what it thinks. Some limited tools on the OpenWRT. Oh, because it's a 5 gigahertz radio. No wonder I can't. Silly, silly. I would have to see that over here. See if that disrupts traffic. It'd be kind of cool if it would give us a name, but oh, there it is. All right, so this fella is the time capsule that I've lost contact with. I guess for troubleshooting, I had knocked it down to a 20 megahertz channel width. Let's see, we see a short guard interval on the RX side, the ability to transmit and receive one stream spatial time block coding. So that's a pretty magical technology. It can enable enhanced it does a good job with a 2-to-1, or when going from a higher number of streams to a lower number of streams. It's able to kind of do that more efficiently. All right, and channel 149 maybe is not the best bet. Again, I should be able to ping it. All right, so this is the other end of this is my link partner here. So looks similar from the outset to what I saw, just for example, from the time capsule. We do have a larger, we do support larger blocks, LDPC, which I don't think gets used much. And then just to be some kind of obnoxious 40 megahertz intolerant on that channel, but it's channel 165, so that channel would only be usable at a higher bandwidth with something like 802.11. What is it? AX, I think, adds support up into the low 170s. Okay, and it is advertising 802.11 AC functionality. We see even bigger blocks are supported. Which is fine. More of that LTPC. Curiously, no RX STPC. 0 to 9, 0 to 9. I didn't know that was a choice to choose MCS rates to support or basic rate. So not really relevant, just curious why I haven't listed the ability to receive space-time block coding. So let's just take a look at that. It's definitely not the issue, but all right, so here is where I list those capabilities on the 802.11n side. Yeah, it's in there. I guess they just maybe that's just not a special ability anymore. So here's that classic mushroom base station. 2412. You know, what would be a usable signal level? I think you typically can get 1 meg down to about, these days it's probably close to 100, but back then certainly down to negative 94. Yeah, low 80s, even with up to 11 meg, I think. I can't. So these interfaces are nice. They also work in a management mode. So if we take that guy down, sorry, I mean monitor. Oh, how is it done now? Dev W1 set mode monitor. Just look at the script. That up. Yeah, and so there we go. So seeing as this is a real basic chipset, we're only getting only got one antenna. I would have thought. Oh yeah, we got one antenna that works and one like stub trace on the PCB or something. I mean, you gotta give credit to Ubiquiti for using the part to its capabilities. Yeah, everything is 96, 98, but I mean, I guess that's something of a noise floor. Yeah, so these are block acts, I believe. Here's our time capsule. All right. Little Sonos action there. Interesting. I guess they've upgraded to 11N now. Oh, but what's specifically interesting is that that's the only, looking specifically at management frames, that's the only HT, so 11N or higher style management frame. that's a nice winfo sock list. That's the most useful dump of connection I've seen. Let's see what that looks like on the other side. So VHT20 is what I want. Is that what I'm in? I guess it is, because I've got no. Yeah, look, this is the other link. I need one or two. So clearly a much quieter channel, and yeah, much wider range. 45. But still over this radio. Definitely not as quick as the closer, higher throughput for sure. Let's pop back to what am I looking for here? Not these things. Yeah, the one thing I miss about these that they just, I don't know if they can't do it or they're trying to sell a higher package. There's no MAC address table. You could turn on QoS. I mean, it seems to work. You could set up VLANs and all that, but there's no opportunity to see what device is on what port. One issue with these Plus series switches, they use a pretty low-end microprocessor to put out this web page, and the management interface flow control is apparently handled by like an 8-bit 8051 chip. So it can actually impact performance overall. So that feature does not work well. I guess I could try turning off all the VLAN stuff. That is the one thing that I'm doing. Okay. That was what's that interface? BR0. All right, I'm just gonna leave that run. I'm gonna go factory reset that time capsule, I guess. Catch you in a minute. So there it is. Yeah, same IP address. I forgot to consider that after factory reset, it will not be in may not be in bridge mode anymore. I mean, so that's there, and then as is Apple's passion for putting 169.254s on everything. Go back to that. So I don't really, again, it doesn't make sense to me that this thing keeps disappearing. Good throughput. Go get a little closer to it with this iPad. All right, so that should be set now to allow configuration over the WAN. All right. So here's the old, here's the new. Flash on activity. So you could do a couple things in the advanced wireless, not much. Normally, transmit power was something that we always kind of bumped down, kind of covered that before, that the radio can't operate at full speed, at full power. So try and choose performance. And then multicast rate, certainly at 1 meg, it would be counted, low would be 1. At 2.4, low would be 1. At 5, it would be 6. I don't really know what these other choices are. Let's see if we can tell that. We'll come back. Actually, we'll come back to that. Guest network, no thank you. Access control, no thank you. Update. Similar to how they do multicast rate over here. With a B or B compatible network, you're limited to the 1, 2, 5.5, and 11 rates. When we switch to G, then we've got the option of choosing the OFDMs. I don't think that it affects the beacon rate on this old unit, but it's possible. All right, now that everything has just kind of come back, can I map a drive? Oh, because I'm on the wrong, probably because I'm on the wrong side of the thing. I really wanted to keep it in router mode for right now. All right, previously we got host unreachable, and we got connection refused. Now we're thinking slowly. So you can use any username with the same password on that fella. Oh, yep, there it goes. All right, so we've seen, easily 115 meg on the wireless side. We are limited to 100 meg Ethernet. Shed side, so if I we'll see what that looks like here in a second. Hasn't really affected latency directly across the link. Still seems responsive. Yeah, it's already down to 6 megabytes a second. Oh, look, now it's... All right, this is not going to be stable enough. It's an old version of DD, so I don't get my status operand. Those are megabytes, so 6 megabytes is 6 times 8, 48, 50 megabits or so. I mean, those numbers aren't awful, but it should be a fully, there should be no use on that channel at all. So it's just curious to me. Definitely some jitter there. But 7 or 8 milliseconds is not that much. Do wish I had a more graphic interface to the throughput. That's another thing you don't get with the Netgear Plus series switches is you don't get SNMP. no loss. And with all that stuff happening, which is to say, see, down at 3 megs, it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. I mean, sure, 40 megabits, while it's also pulling 50. Let's just cancel that then. Something's buffered. All right, so got that ejected. So that we're not writing to it anymore, and yeah, back around 90 megabit. So I don't know, it seems weird. Go try some speed test from the portable device here. So maybe my numbers were reasonable. I got up to 40 meg out there. I had to get within a couple of feet of it to join it successfully. Kept getting like failed password and other stuff. So maybe it's just old and terrible. But yeah, there's that old airport utility is kind of cool. How you get that visibility like that. So yeah, certainly one problem was that yeah, the wireless was slow and terrible, but that whole thing was just dropping off the network entirely. But consistently, I mean, very frequently 1 millisecond ping times. I guess there are some larger, but they may have been during congestion. I'm not sure. This doesn't give me wireless clients on this one. Maybe it was VLAN related. I'm still on there. I mean, it does seem slow though. Now this is a test. It's going through the whole infrastructure to get from this radio to the other. Well, I guess only time will tell if it stays connected. A little snow leopard pinging it there. All right, well, I think I'm gonna go do something else. So, fun to set up an airport base station and look at some OpenWRT there. Yep, and reckon I will catch you guys later.